Hey guys, what's up? So, I really didn't want to make this video, but I realized that I kind of have to, because some really fucked up shit happens to us, and as long as I remain silent, that silence is my consent. The other night was Halloween, and I was gonna have a good time and make a little bit of money. I don't have time right at this moment to address the misogynistic issues that sometimes arise with drag performance. I'll probably do that in another video, but I enjoy drag performance. It, for me, was the first place I was ever able to just be myself and present as female and be in a safe place and accepted, and I feel like that is very important. But we know also that drag is something that mainly takes place in the gay community outside of the trans community, and it's something where we are not always accepted, not always treated properly. Anyway, I've been out of it for a while, and I started doing it again at a smaller club that used to be a lesbian bar downtown. I was actually really happy. I was getting a lot of positive review for it, and things were going really well. So I got into the scene of doing drag at this club after I met my new temporary roommate, Shay. She is a local transgender woman who recently lost her second job after coming out as transgender, and we've been trying to kind of help each other out since we're both in a rough spot. The drag is managed by a man. He runs the drag at that club and is also a manager at what, as far as I know, is the only exotic dance bar in town that allows for transgender people. And he does not have boundaries when it comes to the performers. I don't know how he handles things at the strip club, because I know that he would probably lose his job if he did things the way he did when it comes to drag at the little bar. But he touches the drag performers inappropriately without their consent all the time. Before all this happened, I was thinking about going to perform at that bar, because exotic dance is not only something that makes decent money, it's also something that I have really, really wanted to do. I believe it is a beautiful art form and empowering, and I've just wanted to do it. But now, that's not going to be possible. The drag shows aren't going to be possible either, and frankly, those two things are the least of my concerns. Being new, I kind of figured that I would never be subject to that, and of course, I would never fucking consent to it after the things that I have been through in my own life, but that was gonna change. So, we were supposed to go out and do a drag performance at this little bar on Halloween night, but the internet wasn't working at the bar, and he does all his shit via Spotify. So he said that we'd all go across the street to a different bar where he knew the DJ and did some shit every now and then, and he'd do the drag show over there. We ended up not being able to do the drag show, but so Shay and I and our friends were like, well, we'll just stay and we'll just do karaoke. And that was all well and good, until a group song came up. And if you've ever done a group song in karaoke, it's a fucking group song. There's only a couple mics, but people get on them. So he had one of the mics, and there was a part that was coming up that I was really good at, and I just wanted to go over and get his attention. I tapped him on the head, like this. Maybe a little bit rude, I know, but he was short and sitting in a chair, and I'm 6'2" and was wearing fucking stripper heels. And as soon as I do that, he looks at me with this just look of absolute anger and malice that I even touched him. And before I know it, he reaches his hand underneath and behind my skirt and grabs my genitals and then pulls his hand back and up the crack of my ass. I don't know where he grew up, but where I'm from, that is called sexual assault. And I couldn't do anything. I guess for about 10 or 15 seconds, I was just in shock and could not even move. We can already say that grabbing a woman's genitals, or even just a person's genitals without their permission unexpectedly and in anger, is obviously sexual assault. But when it comes to being transgender, the damage that does goes so far beyond. We're already subject to so much violence, and that is exactly what that was. And there's no point in trying to stand up to it or trying to report it to the police. We've seen before, over and over again, how you can go to the police as a transgender woman with a bloodied face, knowing who hit you, and not get a damn thing done about it. We are victim blamed and slut shamed and shamed even just for our transness. The man's a pervert. Plain and simple. Shay can vouch for me on this. She saw everything that happened, and she has been subject to his fucking molestation before. And I got so fucking angry. No one but my sexual partners touch me there, and even then it is with my permission and my conditions. My friends had to drag me out and hold me because they knew that if I tried to make a physical move against him, I would be the one who would end up going to jail for it. And I've done my best to just be angry about it and say that because I've been raped before, it's not going to really get to me or scar me or anything. But as time keeps going by, I'm starting to realize that it is. And it's not just the loss of opportunities to do things that I love doing and really want to do. It's the fact that I've been so conscious about my genitals since it happened that it's not even fucking funny. So, most people know dysphoria, the feeling that a lot of transgender people have, that our bodies, especially our genitals, whatever, makes us, our birth sex just feels entirely wrong and disgusting to us, and we would do anything to change it. And hormones were actually really helping me to that extent. Tucking is a huge help too, but I had gotten to the point where I just didn't care as much. I could walk around in the house in my pajamas or a pair of workout shorts and not be super conscious of it. That went away. I didn't want anyone touching me when I came home. And at this point, the idea of sex or anything to do with my genitals is just so fucking repulsive. And you know, this is probably TMI, but I had gotten to a point in my life where as long as someone was going to treat me right, I was fine with any of it and actually enjoying it. But now, even just being untucked and having to feel what is there between my legs makes me so self-conscious and just, I feel violated. Not even just by him, but by the fact that I have to exist this way. And that in all likelihood, nothing is going to be done about it. And I'm not unique. 50% of transgender individuals report that they have been sexually assaulted by a romantic partner. That doesn't even mention the ones who have not reported that they've been assaulted or who were assaulted by someone who is not a romantic partner. And I've learned a lot since I have come out. I have learned that coming out and living your life authentically as transgender, you will be betrayed by family members and friends. I have learned that you will be discriminated against for employment. I have learned that you will be discriminated against for housing and will likely end up homeless at some point. I have learned that people everywhere will look at you as a pervert or a predator just for being yourself. And now I've learned that you probably will be sexually assaulted by someone at some point, and they will think that they can get away with it. And this seems especially common in the drag community. Obviously, gayness has nothing to do with being a pervert, but for those gay men who are perverts, it seems like they feel like their gayness is somehow a free pass to exercise as much misogyny and assault women in any way that they want to. And it's not. Once he realized I wasn't going to take that shit, he claimed that I had hit him and started spreading around the story that I had just fucking walked up to him and punched him in the head. Anyone who was actually there and watching saw what happened. And anyone who knows me knows that I'm not just going to fucking walk up and hit someone in the head. And you know what? Fuck that shit. Even if I had, that would not justify sexual assault. And because of that now, I am denied opportunities, I have to live in fear of him, and this bullshit happens to trans people, and women for that matter, on a regular basis. And we're victim blamed or slut shamed for what we were wearing or where we were, and it is fucking wrong, and I'm done with that shit. We're told that it's not a big deal because no one stuck their penis in our vagina or our anus or what the fuck ever. But it is wrong. You do not get to touch any woman's genitals, trans or not, in any way, shape, or form, without her full, enthusiastic, and willing consent. And especially after all the things I've already been through, I am not willing to stand for this. And people will minimize me and slut shame me and victim blame me, and I don't give a fuck. You do not get to sexually violate people for any reason and fucking get away with it. And I'm probably gonna get tied up in a bunch of legal bullshit after making this video, but I don't fucking care. Because if being trans has taught me anything, it is that there is a severe lack of justice in this world and it needs to be fixed. And that is never going to happen while we stay silent, because our silence is our consent. And I do not consent to what happened to me or it happening to any other woman, trans or not. If you want to offer your support or you've been through something similar and you want to talk to me, you can email me at delia.melody87@gmail.com. It'll be in the description. And for those of you out there who think that what happened was at all acceptable, I will tell you this. You can hate me as much as you want. You can take my comfort, you can take my safety, and you can take my life if you want to. But you will never be able to scare me back into being someone who I was not. That is the most important thing that being trans has taught me. Because all of this transphobic behavior comes from a place of hatred or fear. You want to have power over me, you want to control me, you want to tell me who I can and can't be. And I'm here to tell you, you will have to kill me before you can take away who I am. You will not scare me into submission no matter what the fuck you do. And I promise you, you will have to take away my life before you will ever take away my transness or my womanhood. As always, thank you so very much for watching, and until next time, no matter what, be yourself.